Are you being consistent? Oh, thanks. Are you being consistent? Rate yourself a 1 to 10. If you want to, drop it in the comments. How consistent are you being? 1 through 10. All right. We all know life comes up. We lose momentum, right? We've all been there. We're like going, we're going, we're going, we're going. And then all of a sudden life comes up and it's like, and then we stop, right? And it's really hard because here's the thing, network marketing, you don't have a boss that you have to go in and clock in and check in and say, hey, I'm here, I'm at my desk, I'm putting in these things, I'm doing the things, I'm clocking out, okay, see you later, again and again and again. We are our own boss. And so sometimes that's hard, right? That is where discipline comes into play, right? We don't have a time clock, and we don't have that accountability. And so it really relies on us to show up, to be super rooted in why we are here. We've talked about whys on the last few Zooms. And so really, if you are still unsure about why you're here, if you can't see the bigger picture, then I want you to focus on the next step in front of you. What is something that you need right now? What can Plexus help you with right now? And so that would be your why. That is something that absolutely has to get you up and get you going, right? Like it can't be something that you can do without, right? It has to be something that you're like, this would change my life if I had X next month, okay? And so consistency can feel challenging, but it's the most important thing in your business, you guys, the most important thing. When I can tell when someone says, oh, I feel like I'm stuck. I feel like I'm stuck. I can honestly go through their day and say, okay, it's consistency. It's not showing up each day and doing the small things, okay? It is important, and it's one of the most important things in your business. Okay. So you can work part-time. I always say you can work this business part-time. You truly can. If that's what you want, just to work a part-time, you can, but you cannot work it sometimes. You might get maybe to gold on sometimes, but you certainly won't go further than gold on sometimes. Okay. And if you do, it's going to be very, very inconsistent. It's going to feel hard. You're going to feel stuck. And here's the thing, if you want to make $1,000, you're going to have to be consistent and show up. If you want to add another zero onto that, you're going to have to be consistent and show up, you guys. Truly and honestly, consistency is the number one thing that is a differentiator in your business. It's not a perfect message. It's not pretty pictures. It's really not. It's not the perfect post. It's consistency, the bad and the good. You can send 10 bad messages and 10 great messages, but if you're consistent, it doesn't matter what message you send, but when you hit that right person, if they're ready, they're like, okay, I'm ready, right? And so consistency is way better than intensity in the long run, right? Like you can have spurts of intensity, but what happens when you have spurts of intensity and you stop, right? Consistency with intensity creates major, major fires in your business, right? Like if you never take that spurt of intensity, it's going to take, and which is fine, because if you have consistency behind it, if you are just a consistent train and you just keep chugging along, you're going to get there because you're consistent. But if you have these little spurts of like momentum and intensity, it's like a slingshot. It's just going to catapult you quicker to your goals, right? And so here's a statistic. This is not just for Plexus, but people who do their IPA every day, people who show up and do the small things every day in network marketing, within 10 years, you will be at the top of your company. Think about that. If you do so this is just the slow and steady. This is you just showing up every day, doing your IPA, getting the things done, whether or not you want to or not, you will be guaranteed to be at the top of your company in 10 years. And here's the thing, if you understand this, it should give you motivation to be consistent with at least the bare minimums, okay? So drop in the chat, what are the bare minimums? What do you guys think the bare minimum is? Okay, while you guys are dropping that, the reason why consistency will yield results, will yield you with massive results in a short amount of time. I think, and here's the thing, I think 10 years is short, right? because some people, 10 years is short when you're making a doctor's income. To me, doctors go to school for 10 years and then there's another 10 years to pay off the debt to even make profit, you guys. Honestly, to make what a brain surgeon makes, that's absolutely insane. Hold on one second. So sorry, my computer, don't want it to die again. I had little helpers in here with me today. Okay. So I truly believe that I would much rather say, I'm going to be doing this for 10 years and make what, because, okay, for in 10 years, what most of us are going to be like in our like 40s and 50s or whatever, like, y'all, could you imagine? That's like the sweet spot. Like that's smooth sailing from here on out. So considering, okay, so what do you think the basics are? We're dropping them in the chats. Let's see. IPA, checking in with your team, posting stories, follow-ups, posts, morning rounds, planners, customer care, posting, reach outs, follow-ups. Yes, that's the bare minimum. That is the bare minimum. Sending 5 messages a day, 2 follow-ups, 3, 2, 1, right? So here's the thing. They're simple, right? They're so simple. So easy not to do them than it is to do them, right? They're so simple that sometimes we're like, I don't need to reach out to 5 people today. So we skip it, right? They seem so insignificant, but successful people make the decision to do the things anyways. And if you guys have not read The Slight Edge, I would 110% recommend you go get the book. It is, I know Brianna loves it. I love it. It is hands down. I couldn't put it down. It is so good. I mean, every single thing in that book, you're like, oh my gosh, light bulb moment, light bulb moment, light bulb moment. Like it is so good. Okay. So consistency in the small things daily yield big results. The compound effect. Who's familiar with the compound effect? So it builds up on each other. So sometimes we don't see the fruit of it for some time. And so that's like showing up, doing your IPA. You're like, oh, this is the same thing over and over and over. But guess what? It's easy. It's easy. Like if that's all you have to do each day, you're going to see results. And so sometimes we don't see the fruit. So it's like basically like when we invest $1 for every day. So you invest $1 every day. It's not just that $1 that you're going to see years down the road. That dollar is going to start earning interest on top of interest on top of interest. And so you end up with exponentially more than what you put in. This is when you see the consequence. Good habits are the same way, right? So when you continue to show up little by little by little with good habits, it's going to compound and you're going to see big results. So when you're building a business, and I'm sure that everyone can relate in here, in the beginning, it's going to feel like you are working way harder than what you are getting paid for, right? I know that in the beginning, I was like, oh my gosh, like I am busting tail. What the heck? But I saw the long-term vision. I was like, I know that this work that I'm putting in is building the foundation for years to come. And so if you continue, it's going to feel like you're getting paid more for the amount of work you do once. And that's how I feel now. I feel like what I get paid is like, oh my gosh, because I have set the foundation for our team. I put in the grunt work. I still put in the grunt work, but I put it in big time in the beginning. And now the foundation is laid, right? And so it's like crazy. Every time I get my check, I'm like, okay, this has got to be wrong because like this feels too easy, right? And so difference than other employees. So it's different than an employee, right? Employees, they trade hours for dollars, right? You put this amount of time in, you get this much money. And so you need to have that expectation and value consistency, that you won't be crazy successful without it. If you do not value the consistency part of this, it's going to be really hard for you to move past that next level. So persistence is continuance in a course of action in spite of difficulty or opposition. And I love that. Sorry, Brianna, I'm kind of just like going off of my notes. I know you're like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I'm like, she made a PowerPoint and I listened to and took some notes. Okay. So the thing about consistency, the tiny little small disciplines that you need to do day in and day out are so simple. They're just as easy not to do than to do. And sometimes they're overlooked because they seem so insignificant. But I feel like, so what are some things that you feel like maybe you overlook in your business because they seem so small? We underestimate the power of doing these small things consistently. A good habit, you don't see the fruit right away, like I said. It's kind of like when you eat an Oreo, like you're like, I'm going to get fit, and you have an Oreo. You're not going to gain 15 pounds from eating that one Oreo, right? But if you continue over time, you're going to see the repercussions of eating that Oreo over and over and over again. But it's going to be the same thing in your business. If you don't do those daily mundane tasks, you're going to see the repercussions. It might not be right away, but you will see those things. Okay. So it's easy to dismiss the daily disciplines because you don't see the fruit or consequences of missing it every day. Right. So just like if you miss your IPA one day, you're not going to see a repercussion in your paycheck, right, that month. But if you miss it for a whole 30 days, or if you're gone, say life happens and then you're like you're going strong, life happens, and then you disappear for 2 weeks, right? And everyone's like, where was she? She was like doing so great. And now where is she? And you were leading a team. Guess what? Your team is going to do exactly what you're doing. So if you're gone, your team's going to be gone, unless you have some unicorn on your team that just whatever. But you guys, honestly, like your team is going to do exactly what you do. So if you're sitting there and you're disappearing for 2 weeks and then you're wondering why your team has a problem with being consistent, take a look in the mirror and ask yourself, am I showing up the way that I would expect my team to show up? You have to have that reflection. Okay. So people are so focused on the goal, right? We are so focused on that goal, especially at the end of the month, right? We are so focused on that goal, and somehow it's like no one was here, and then all of a sudden it's like everyone's here at the end of the month. You're like, well, where the heck were you all month? Like, if we're so focused on that goal, you hit the goal. So say you hit that goal and you're like, woohoo, I hit the goal, and then you slide back. So tell me, is this you? If you hit a goal, you've worked all month for it, you hit Ruby, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh man, that was awesome. Okay, I deserve a break. Like I just need a minute, and a minute turns into 2 days, 2 days turns into 5 days. And then before you know it, it's a week and a half and you haven't done anything, right? And so you stay on that roller coaster, right? I'm not saying that you can't get anywhere by doing that, but it sure as heck is not going to be sustainable, right? There aren't any good habits that are being created by charging forward and then taking 6 steps back. Okay. I've done it. I've been there in the first part of my business journey. That was me. I would hit a rank and then I'd take some time off. I'd hit a rank, I'd take some time off. I'd hit a rank. And it was just like, oh my gosh, if I could just stay consistent, like it didn't have to be 365 days of all out freaking just go, 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 go. But it was much easier if I would have just stayed consistent through it, instead of saying going all out and then taking a step back, going all out and taking a step back. If I would have just went all out and then reeled it back just a little bit and kept doing my consistent actions, that would have yielded way better results than what I was going for or going through. Okay. And so what happens is, like, we stop doing the things that made us successful in the first place. We stopped doing those things that got us to that rank. It's so weird. I don't know why we do it, but it's like we hit that rank and then it's like, we're like, meh, and it's like, we know what we're doing. Why did we stop doing that? We know what to do that got us there. So let's continue to do that. It's okay. So if you kept doing those things, you would hit the next ranking goal even faster. It might be whatever it is, but I think a lot of the times we allow ourselves excuses. We are so good at allowing ourselves to slide past with excuses. And we are so good at justifying those excuses with us too, even though we know if they're complete BS, right? So I work so hard, I need a breather. I need balance. Since I work so hard, we fall into bad habits. But if you keep going, you're going to allow it to build, and that is going to also touch on that compound effect. Okay. So Brianna, I'm going to pass it over to you and you can wrap it up, finish this up.
All right. So I just put in the chat, in that Slight Edge book, the Slight Edge is basically those easier tasks that are easy to do that you don't do, that successful people figure out to do them anyways. That's basically the Slight Edge. And so I have some things highlighted, but he says in the book, it isn't the actions that are wrong. It's that people don't keep doing them. So it's not the how. You guys know the how. You told us in the chat already. It's that you just aren't consistently doing them. And like she just talked about, you may do them 2 weeks consistently, 3 weeks consistently, but then you stop. And then it's like Kristen Ball says, you have to awaken your audience again. And so then you're like back at square one because everybody's like, wait, where'd she go? Where's she been? You know? And so you kind of have to come back. So we're going to talk about diligence. And when you look up diligence in the Bible, that's basically consistency. So you're talking about consistent action. You're talking about being diligent to your business. Diligent is being constant and earnest effort, attentive and persistent. So we talk about persistence is doing the hard things, bless you, no matter what, right? Doing the hard things no matter what comes up. So in the Bible app that I have, you can go into the app and like just search a word. So I typed in diligent. And when you bring up diligent, this is what came up. And you're talking about the Proverbs 22:29, sees thou a man diligent in his business, he shall stand before kings. Proverbs 10:4 tells you he becometh poor, that death with a slack hand, but the hand of the diligent maketh rich. So what do you want? Do you want a slack hand or do you want the hand of the diligent, right? So you want the hand of the diligent. You are a steward and we have a responsibility to show up. So as a leader, you have the responsibility right here, right now to show up for your team and to show up to your audience, right? Because that's what we are here for. That's what God put you in this position for. So think about being diligent. So why does consistency feel so hard? It's life. Life just happens. It's because you're not understanding that slight edge. You don't understand the compound effect. And that's not to say anything like negatively towards you at all. It's just you've not like found that sweet spot for yourself yet. And so we still allow simple things to throw us off track. We have to understand how important our daily tasks are. Simple, small things every day adding up. That is the slight edge. Like, and I'm telling you, that book is legit my favorite book. If anybody asks me when they come into network marketing what personal growth book they should read first, I tell them The Slight Edge. It is a longer read, but it like keeps you on your toes in like a knowledgeable way. You're like, oh my gosh, I want to keep reading this and I want to read it again. But he says, you know what you need to do every day to become healthier, but it's easier not to do it. But if you don't do it tomorrow, next week, or even next year, that's what compounds over time. I made that bad choice today. I'm making that bad choice tomorrow, next week, next month, next year. That's compounding effect. But eating the bag of M&Ms tonight doesn't ruin your health, right? But if you eat a bag of M&Ms every single night, that's when we're talking about ruining our health. And so that's, you can put that into your marriage. You can put that into your relationship with your kids, your finances. Like if you're blowing $100 every single day, you just blew your budget, right? But you don't realize that today, but a week down the road when you've spent $700, you're like, crap, right? So it's that building upon each other that makes the difference. So again, I'm just kind of referencing the book here. So he says, the slight edge action is reading just 10 pages a day, every day, just 10 pages. It compounds. Don't read it today. It won't matter. But if you keep making that choice, you aren't learning new things. You aren't growing. But what if you decide to read 10 pages every single day? It compounds and you create knowledge within yourself. You create a new person full of life. You have new knowledge to share and you have value to give. That is what's life-changing. So you have to make that choice. You have to decide, right? You have to say what I do today, what I do tomorrow, what I do the next day. That's where my success comes from. Success is a process. It's not a destination. Okay? Did you guys hear that? Success is the process. It's not a destination. It's not when I hit Emerald, I'll be successful. No. Right? Success is right now. You've all had success. You've all signed up somebody. You've all helped somebody transform their life. You are already successful. So take that knowledge in that way. When you get to the point when you see your success, your choices that got you there are already history. Think about that, right? When somebody sees me and says, congratulations on your success, have they seen the 5 years of blood, sweat, and tears that I've put into this business? No, they didn't see any of it. All they see is what I have now, the success I have now. They don't see the choices that I've made. So again, it applies to everything in your life. Sometimes life is hard. We know that. We feel like we're failing our kids. We feel like we're failing our marriage. Like we feel like we're just failing in life. But I'm telling you, it's just the process. And sometimes the process seems hard, right? So believe in this power of consistency. Okay. I want you to, hello. Where am I going here? Okay. Anyways, I want you to understand that the most important part here is your mindset. And we talk about this all the time. Your mindset is the most important here. You can learn all the skills in the world, but if you have a crappy mindset, you're not going to be able to move forward. So you have to get control of those unintentional negative thoughts that you're having. You have to learn how to handle those when they pop up. When you have those thoughts about yourself that you're not good enough, you don't know enough, that you don't know how to do this, okay? You have to learn how to handle those and get a grasp on those. And I don't want you to like focus on them and think, oh, I have to flip that switch. I can't think negatively like that. Yeah, you can. It's okay. But you have to understand, why do I feel like that? Okay, get curious around the fact that you're having those thoughts and those feelings. Why am I feeling this way? This mindset is where your personal growth comes in. This is where reading good books. We're doing the book study now, Developing the Leader Within You. You will truly not find leaders within this company with booming teams that are not doing book studies, that their team are not on Zooms doing this stuff. They are learning, they are growing, and that's what is moving them forward, is all this growth and that positive mindset. So get a good book, get good podcasts, get good stuff in between your ears. That's so important. Leaders are always learning, leaders are always reading, they're always growing, they're always sharing, because this is when you're going to see your life change, is when you have value to give other people. And if you're not taking in good things, you don't have good things to give, right? And that's where you make an impact. So again, hold yourself accountable, get uncomfortable, get to the root of your bad habits. Look at your daily life. Where are your bad habits coming in? Get clear on what you want out of this business. What do you want out of life? Like when we do these like trainings for you guys, I want you to take it and I want you to apply it to every aspect of your life, not just Plexus business, right? This whole mindset, this whole personal growth has changed everything in my life completely. So that's what I want you to focus on. No one's perfect. No one is like sitting down every day, getting their booty in the chair, working 2 and 3 hours. Like that's not going to be like realistic for everybody. But what I want you to do is holding yourself accountable to, what did I say I was going to do today? And holding yourself to it to get it accomplished. You can't say yes to everything, right? You can't be a people pleaser. And you can't be successful and stay inside your comfort zone. It's just not going to happen. You're going to have to step outside of your comfort zone. Okay, which brings me to something else, the whole focusing, right? We talk about ADD, and I swear, like, this is like, was me, because I'm that person that sees the laundry, but when I switch laundry, I see the dirty cat box, and then I clean the cat box, and then I see the trash that's overflowing, and so I take the trash out, and then I see the dishes, and then I'm like, oh wait, I was supposed to be switching the laundry. So like, I'm that person, but right? But 90% of distractions are intentional. They're here. Only 10% are your kids, your TV, your phone, those things around you. 90% of your distractions are right here. It's your thoughts. And that to me is like mind blowing to even think about. That 90% of my issues are internal. So when we're not focused, we're usually avoiding something. And this is what they call buffering. When you're buffering, you're folding laundry, you're doing dishes, you're scrolling your phone, you're on Netflix, you're avoiding something. You're avoiding an emotion. I don't want to feel uncomfortable. I don't want to send that message. So instead, I'm going to go do laundry. I don't know what to say in this post. So instead, I'm going to go do the dishes. That's buffering, that's avoidance. And so the lack of focus is just managing your attention span and feeling that uncomfortable and just being okay with it. Just be okay with it. Understand, be self-aware. I am feeling uncomfortable right now. Why am I feeling uncomfortable? Oh, because I don't want to send this message to Tina. Why do I not want to send this message to Tina? Oh, because Tina might tell Susie that lives down the street that Brianna messaged her. Like, we just have that whole thought process, right? Just get uncomfortable with it and dig into it. Be self-aware. I want you to notice these thoughts and understand, do you feel fear? Do you feel annoyed? Do you feel defeated? Are you feeling like a failure? Do you feel like you're not good enough? You don't know what to say? That's what I want you to be aware of. What are the things that are coming up? When you don't manage these, that's when you're going to buffer. And so we know that our thoughts create our feelings and our feelings create our actions, right? And so that's even in the slight edge, but he calls it a different thing. It's like attitude is your results and something else. So it's like your attitude, actions, results. So it's kind of similar, because if you think about it, your thoughts are probably controlling your attitude, right? If you've got some crappy thoughts going on, your attitude might be kind of crappy. So kind of the same thing. So get control of the thoughts, be self-aware. Like I said, you don't have to flip the script. You don't have to make it a positive, but just get curious around it. Understand where it may be coming from and just get real with it. The next thing that I want to talk to you about is priorities. Are your priorities set? And we talked about this in our book study on Monday night. Priorities, you can't manage your time, but you make the choice. What am I filling my time with? That's where your priorities come in. And we know the saying like, oh, I don't have time to work out. No, flip it to, it's not a priority, right? Oh, I didn't have time to work my business today. No, your business wasn't a priority, right? So you have to kind of put it into that, like that kind of mindset, so you can get those priorities right. Distractions move you away from your business. But traction, which is the opposite, moves you toward your goal. So you want more traction. And just because something feels like you're working doesn't mean it's moving you forward. We can do a lot of administrative stuff and feel like we're working, but I can promise you it ain't doing nothing. That's not doing anything to move your business forward. So I want you to think, when you sit down to work, what is giving me traction in my business? What is important for me to get done today? Did I do what I said I was going to do? Get crystal clear on the activity that is going to take you to the next level, right? And you guys told me what those were. You know the how. You know how to post. You know how to message. You know how to follow up. You know how to ask people how to share. You know how to get in your stories. You know how to do it. And the next thing I want you to do is to let go of the guilt. Let go of the shame that you have around your business and that you have around your points or whatever it is. Okay? You can't do it all. You never will be able to. Okay? So set your priorities and get like clear. Get your calendar out. What do I want to accomplish today? You have the choice, and it's up to you to decide what you're going to do. Okay. Confidence, self-confidence, confidence in the products, confidence in the opportunity. It is all, again, mindset because it goes back to your thoughts. It's your thoughts about yourself. It's your thoughts about the products. It's your thoughts about the opportunity. That's all it is. And for you to have self-confidence, you have to be self-aware and you have to have self-acceptance. You have to love yourself for who you are. You have to do that. Okay, so I may be loud, I may be preachy, I may be passionate, I may be, I don't know, right? But I have to love myself for those things. I like nice things. I like whatever, right? You have to understand that you're that person and just love yourself for it anyways. I'm the person that likes dessert when we go out to eat, right? People are like, oh my God, she's always eating dessert. That's me, right? I love me for me. I love me because I eat dessert after dinner, right? So it's okay to love the things about yourself. And so I want you to think about these things.
Anytime you'd want to help me.
Yes. Okay, did you get it? So I want you to intentionally be working on your thoughts, okay? And I want you to be aware of when they come up, how they come up, and what you feel when they do. Because you have to learn, like we talked about, how to kind of control them. What you do with them is what's most important. And so most successful people are very high in self-awareness. They are aware of the things that are coming up. They're aware of their thoughts, their actions, their strengths, their weaknesses, and they know how to use those things to their benefits. What gifts do you have? What's your talent? What are you good at? What are you bringing to the table? When are you most creative? When are you emotional? How much sleep do you need? Do you need a good workout? How much water do you need? Like, guys, get so good at understanding yourself that you know you like the back of your hand, like, oh, it's 5 o'clock. I'm going to get sleepy and I'm going to need to do something, right? Or I realize that I need X amount of sleep because on these days I didn't get enough sleep and I was a little bit cranky or, whatever it may be, right? Or it's the time of the month. I'm a little bit more emotional. I know I'm going to have to work harder on managing my thoughts this week, right? Everybody can I get an amen on that? So when do you thrive? Is it early in the mornings? Is it late at night? Okay. Think about these things. Then I want you to understand that you have to have self-confidence. You have to know what you bring to the table. You have to know these things. And I want you to have confidence in the products and confidence in this opportunity. And if you don't have confidence in this opportunity, I want you to scroll back up and I want you to look at Andrea's and my checks from last month. Because they were 5 figures and above in 1 month. And if that doesn't give you inspiration and confidence in what this opportunity is capable of, I'm not sure what will, right? So the opportunity is real and it is life-changing. These products, we see the testimonies every day. They're life-changing. The community is amazing, right? Have confidence in all this. Know what you bring to the table to your prospects. And this is not about you. We talked about this in one of the Gold Mastermind series, taking the focus off of us, right? Because when we have thoughts like, oh my gosh, we're bugging them, right? Oh my gosh, she's going to think this. You're worried about what they think of you. And all that focus is on you. It's not even on them. You're not worried about how can I change their life. All you're worried about is you. So how can I serve others well? And everybody serves differently, right? I can think of my dad and stepmom at the church. My stepmom is hands-on in everything. She's crafting. She's in the middle of the food pantry, serving food. She's doing all the things. My dad's in the background. My dad's the one who probably puts up the chairs once everybody's went home. right? He's the one who's doing the heavy lifting and the cleaning and the things like that when nobody's even watching. Serving is different for everybody. So how do you serve others well? In what way can I make this person's life better? And I want you to think about that every time you sign up somebody new. What can I do to make this person's life better? What's God called you to do in this business? So don't worry about what people think or what they say. That's being self-centered. Take you out of the equation, and I guarantee your business will completely change because you're going to be others focused. Fear. We all have fear. Fear is just thoughts that come up. Truly, they really are. It's just those feelings that come from thoughts, right? So we're not going to be perfect, okay? But we can learn to control them. And that's the best gift that we can give ourselves. Fear of failure is not an option, okay? I don't want you to think that I cannot fail. The more you fail, the more you succeed. It tells you that in the Slight Edge book. He even says, the more you fail, the more you succeed because you have a higher success rate at that point. Okay? So we're taught to avoid failure. Oh, we don't want to feel failure. We don't want to feel that feeling. Failure needs to be an option so you can learn, so you can grow. Because if I didn't fail 50,000 times on the way to Sapphire, I wouldn't have the lessons and the journey to share with everyone else of how to get here. And that goes with you too. So Babe Ruth also led the league in strikeouts. Man, may have been an amazing baseball player. Now my computer's about to die, so we heading downstairs to the charger. So Babe Ruth also struck out a lot, okay? Guess how many times we strike out? We strike out a lot, right? We sign up somebody and we think that they're going to be some amazing business builder, or they come in and then they quit in a week, right? And we thought they were going to be so consistent. We strike out too, okay? Fear is backwards progress. That means you're moving in the wrong direction, okay? So don't move in the wrong direction. Don't be afraid to fail. Be okay with failing. Be okay with making mistakes. Be okay with, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to post this. I don't know what I'm going to say. But just do it anyways. Just get into action. Who cares if it's perfect? Perfectionism, you have to do something first so you can perfect it. So using perfectionism as an excuse doesn't work for me because you have to do it and then you can perfect it, right? So don't overthink it, just get into action. Fearful thoughts. We think, oh my gosh, what are they gonna think of us? What are we gonna do? No. Who said that about you? Was that from God or was that from the devil? Our pastor actually preached this not too long ago, and he was talking about not being a good mother, not being a good servant. And it's like, who said that? Who said that? Because that wasn't from God. God would never say anything like that to us. So people who are addicted to the opinions of others are rarely successful. So if you're so worried about everybody else, are you going to be successful? No, because you're going to be so worried about what they think, and your identity is going to come from who they think you are. Okay, so if you change someone's life, why would you care what someone else says about you? You just changed their life. Who cares what Susie down the street says, right? Focusing on the thoughts from others will never make you feel good about yourself. You're going to believe what everyone else says, and you're not going to be who you are. Again, think about the value that you have to offer. Do it scared, make the choice. Guys, there were so many times in my business that I did the whole roller coaster thing. And let me see if I can get this to stop. Good grief. And I was the person who would go Ruby and then I'd quit working because my kids would be out of control, or Darren and I would start fighting, or because we didn't have a good routine in the household. Okay. And then I'd slide back. And then I'd get a little bit over Ruby, push towards senior Ruby, and guess what would happen again? I'd fall back because my life started being messy again. You can't let that happen. Get routines, get systems into place in your home. Like, I'm not saying that this house runs like fine wine, but I'm telling you, like, they know what time it is. They know what's expected. They know what we do at a certain time on certain days. And it just is a system. My household is a system, just like my business has systems. And it has changed our life completely. So I want you to think about these things. And I really want you to think about your thoughts and think about your fears that are coming up and just work on them, being aware of them, right? And so I have to share this before we go. I was listening to one of the Emily Gibson things today. And so if you're not in Beyond the Rank, I'm telling you, just spend the $59 and get in her stuff because it's amazing. So yes, Andy, it cracks me up because she's like, who said that? And they're always like, Sally from 3rd grade, my mom, and my aunt. And you're like, okay, so we're worried about those 3 people. And it's always like thoughts from random people like that. Like, it's so funny. But today she was talking to a girl who had hit Emerald, had fallen back, who's now not hitting outside leg points, and is worried that she's going to be a fraud on stage at convention. She's like, I didn't earn that. I can't take that jewel. I can't get on stage. And she's like, why can't you? When you earned that jewel, you earned it. You made the choices to earn that. You are worthy of that still today, whether your points are hitting or not. And so it was just really good. And so the girl's like, well, every time I sit down, I just feel like I'm fighting tooth and nail. I feel like it's like I'm just being defeated. And maybe I can hit it this month, but what if I don't hit it next month? And she's like, what if you don't hit it next month? What's that mean about you? Nothing. It doesn't take your worthiness away. You're still worthy. But she's like, go ahead, worthy, unworthiness. Come pull up a seat right here beside me. Go ahead, defeated. We're going to feel defeated today too, right here. I even brought you some goldfish crackers. Go ahead. We're going to be here a while. And you all, okay, tooth and nail, you're going to sit over here. Take off your jacket. It's going to be a long day. Like, what are your thoughts? Pull them on up. Set them beside you. But then you're going to say, oh, okay, Susie from 5 years from now, Susie who hit diamond, Susie's talking. So the rest of you are going to shut up for a while and we're going to listen to Susie. And Susie's going to tell us what we did to get to diamond. Okay, Susie, tell us, what did you do? Oh, Susie says that she ran 3-day wellness chats. Susie said that she did some sip and sees. Susie said that she did this. Like, what's your brain offering to you to get you there? And so that's all it is. It's just getting curious and being okay with feeling defeated. Come on, pull up a chair, come sit beside me, defeated. We're going to get busy, but you're going to shut up, right? You're done talking. You're going to sit right here beside me. We're going to feel defeated, but we're going to go ahead and send the message anyways. Because what if it does work, right? So she got Shonda Sapphire last month and her best friend made her download Project Broadcast. And she's like, that's not going to work. Well, she's like, I knew it wasn't going to work, but I sent the message anyways. And she's like, guess what? It worked. It worked. You know, it's just getting curious about it and just doing it anyways. Like being okay with feeling like that. Like, yeah, it may be a lot of work, but guess what? We're in it. Let's do the lot of work. What does that a lot of work look like? What's it look like? What are you going to do? What do you do today to get 6 points? What are you going to do today to help somebody on your team get one person? What are you going to do today to move your business forward? It's that simple, right? Is that not a game changer? Like, I was cracking up, like driving down the road. She's like, come on, defeated. Got you some goldfish crackers. You're just going to sit right here. Come on.
She said she even named her anxiety, like, and it had an outfit. It had a bright red outfit and it had a name. Like, and she's just like, hey, how are you? I'm good to see you this morning. You're coming in hot and heavy. She's just like, nice to see you, right? Like, just expect them. They're going to come up. But just be aware of them and tell them to flop down a seat and we're going to get busy, right? Here it comes. I'm going to feel defeated. I'm going to feel really crappy after I send this message, but I'm going to send it anyways, right? Like, just moving on kind of with life, like through your thoughts and just getting curious around them. Amanda Stover today, I was messaging her and she was like, you really sound like Emily right now. Like, just channeling it. That's what I'm doing this month. It's just channeling the inner Emily Gibson this month. So yes, life is 50-50. Every day is always going to be 50% bad, 50% good. Every day. So that's all I have.
Thank you so much. If you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. If not, thank you for taking time again out of your Wednesday to be with us. Go and apply something that you took away from this call this month, tonight, tomorrow. Go apply it. Don't just sit on it. And like Brianna said, your thoughts are what are stalling you. It's not the other things that you may think are. Those are buffers. So that was something that stood out to me. And so just remember that and just go and create with the middle of the month. I always say this when we get off the call, but it doesn't matter what you did the first 2 weeks of the month. You can change and move forward the next 2 weeks, you guys. You really can. Make it a goal. What do you want to do? Take it step by step, one little step by step. You don't have to go and recruit 10 people. Recruit one person, get them silver, right? Just the simple steps. What's 1% better than what you did today? So I'm super proud of everybody. I really am showing up, getting vulnerable. I see such great things happening for you guys in May, and I just cannot wait to be a part of it. So love you guys. I will see y'all next Wednesday. Bye.